Welcome back to the mini series, My Dad Died, Now What? And before you thought I neglected you here on YouTube, I didn't. We just had Thanksgiving break in between, and there's a life update kind of happening behind the scenes that I really am so excited and I can't wait to share because it's going to change what this programming looks like after next week's episode, which will be the last one. And yes, my goal is to get these done before the year is out. No, I did not think it would take this long to churn out 7 episodes, but life has been happening and I'm just rolling with the punches. That being said, 2 weeks ago, I did post on TikTok basically a condensed version of what this episode's going to be. But honestly, I want to keep it condensed as well because if I give myself the runway to ramble, I will. And I don't want to do that to you today. Okay, great. So that being said, the topic or the thing that I've discovered while navigating this grief journey is how I wanted to be anywhere but here. And initially, in the aftermath of everything that had happened with my father, I had found myself, again, I know this isn't new, but it's a new experience with me. And I am just unpacking it, and unpacking it on video helps my ADHD because I can rewatch it later instead of trying to read through journal entries. But anyways, I digress. So I had realized that I wanted to be anywhere but here, that my mind so desperately wanted to exist in another reality or in another place, or in memories with me, with my father, right? Because it just happens so suddenly. When you lose somebody that you love, they're here and then they're not. And it sounds like such an oversimplification of what that process is, but quite literally that's what it turns out to be, right? Their physical being is no longer with you. And I didn't want to be with my physical being either. My body was in one place. I was experiencing this reality right now where my dad was no longer with us, but my mind wanted to be elsewhere and I wanted to kind of vacate in the sense that, I went on autopilot for a bit. I wasn't really feeling all the feelings that I needed to be feeling. I wasn't engaging intentionally and being present with the people around me, with my family. And it sucked, point blank. As somebody who's experienced trauma before, my dad's passing, which was traumatic for all of us, I had experienced other trauma in childhood, and that was such a similar emotion or a similar pattern to want to disassociate and not be here. And with this experience, I realized that in doing so, in not being here and in not being present, and bypassing essentially what my actual reality is, I'm also losing out on being alive. I'm missing out on being here. I found myself kind of wishing to be fast forwarded to somewhere else where I would be over this or where things would be better. And subsequently, I would want to be fast forwarding my being a mom, being a wife, being the person that I needed to be today, right now, intentionally in this present moment. I was wishing her away. And it made me feel really sad that I had been wanting to be anywhere but here and wanting to vacate and exist in another time, another plane, another moment in a memory where things were just better than what we had been experiencing. And then I followed that train of thought and it landed on manifestation is the same thing. You're essentially wishing to be anywhere but where you are right now. And that just halted any type of manifestation that I thought I had been trying to accomplish at that time. Because essentially what I'm saying is that the reality that I'm living in right now, which in a way was a reality I had prayed for and asked to exist, years before, the things that we have, how we're able to raise our children, all of that wishing and praying led me to here. And now I'm here, and because of this awful circumstance, nothing else felt worthy of my attention, felt worthy of me being present. And that didn't feel right for me. It didn't feel like the current reality that I'm in right now doesn't deserve my attention, doesn't deserve my being in it, embodying it full heart and soul, because it's something that I had wanted. Obviously, not my dad passing, but it just so happens that the future that we created, that was the circumstance that was going to exist. And the person that I've become as a result of my previous manifestations and, essentially making myself open and surrendering to God's plan, which is what I'm now going to start calling my manifestations, right? I'm going to start doing less and just going with the flow. Is that I don't want to continue manifesting out of the space of, I don't want to be here, I don't want this, I'm lacking something. I want to start manifesting out of the place of, I have everything I need. Bonuses would be great. I get to live in my body and I get to experience all the blessings and the privileges that I'm able to experience right now. Again, not discounting the current state of events in the world, but speaking from what I'm able to experience, I know that I have a lot of privilege and I have a lot of things to be grateful for, despite the circumstances of having lost my father the way that I did and all the things that kind of happened as a result of that. And it really was sobering to be like, oh, well, manifestation is just you not wanting to be here. And it's just acknowledging the fact that you're lacking for something. It's stating the very, obvious fact that you want for this and you don't have it. So I wanted to flip that script on myself. One, from the grief perspective of really understanding that being here and being in this experience and being in the situation and feeling my emotions, despite how painful they may be, is teaching my body safety, is teaching my mind that I can be here in this present moment. And that, yes, this is a very unimaginable, never before experienced reality that I'm here, but I'm here. I'm here right now and I'm present and I'm able to make the best of what is happening. And I'm able to borrow from that experience and be a present mother and be a present wife and be able to pour myself into all the classes that I'm teaching, whether it's dance or, a strength class or an aqua aerobics class, being present in those moments so that it doesn't feel as fleeting. And I'm not going to lie, the past few days while life update is happening in the background, it's caused me to really pause and slow down, which is something I'm not used to. But that's what I want to do. I want to be able to be here and experience the here and the now. And now looking at it through the lens of manifestation, it's offered me the opportunity to do less, right? I don't have to journal every new moon or full moon, lay out my crystals, throw my cards, like do all the different things that I was doing to try to figure out if I'm on the right path, if I'm doing the right thing. Because again, being in my body, I'm learning to hear what my gut is telling me, what my heart is telling me, what my mind is telling me, and how all of that can come together in me making the right decision right now. And again, I'm not discounting any of that. I think those are beautiful practices because they do allow us to center and be calm and be still in that moment, channeling our energy through, the different methodologies that you can channel your energy with. But I think that there is just something really beautiful of learning to sit in with yourself and not just listen to the whispers of who you want to become, but also listen to the whispers of the universe, of God, of Jesus, right? Whatever your spiritual, theological upbringing may be, which I'm Catholic, so for me it's God and Jesus, and being able to be still in those moments and listen to what is being offered to me. Without being concerned about Mercury being in retrograde, which again, all of that I understand and I believe, right? These are celestial beings. They are affecting our thoughts and how we are presenting ourselves and also how information is being presented for us. But it allowed me to relieve that expectation of the horoscope having to be it, or my manifestation, or I'm doing it wrong and now I'm not going to get the one thing that I want. I'm learning to release that grip. I'm learning to let go because, again, I'm present. My body is here. My mind is here. And I'm allowing my higher self, God, to put in front of me the opportunities, the instruments, the different things that I need to learn for not just my journey through this grief right now, but for who I want to become and for who I want to be for the next iteration of myself. And if I'm getting disheartened by a horoscope or by tarot cards or by what phase the moon was in, and if it was in my, house for this, or if I'm even following my period calendar and it's like, oh, well, I was PMSing then and now like my energy's off. It's like, it just takes all that pressure off. And now I can do less. I don't have to do anything. I just have to take every single moment as it comes. And if I'm here and I'm present, I can do that wholeheartedly instead of being distracted or silencing the inner voice that I have within, and the guidance that I'm receiving to, like I've said before, be the instrument to share whatever it is that I need to share and whoever it is that I'm becoming to be an instrument of good for everybody that I encounter. And yeah, so this is, I guess, my way of saying to you, I know things are rough. I understand. I know the economy is not great. I know our government is going through an entire upheaval, right? Insert all of the different news headlines here, right? We know that this timeline just hasn't been the most palatable, to say the least. But in all that, be present, be here, because you don't know what situation is presenting itself in front of you that either helps you, benefits you, or teaches you so that you can benefit somebody else, so that you can be of good to those around you, right? Ultimately, we want to live a good life, live with peace, and leave things better than how we found them. So even though things might suck, and they suck bad, be here. And if you're manifesting or you feel like you're doing a lot, do less and listen to what the silence in yourself offers you. And if you pray, pray and see what, is being offered to you during that prayer, right? Again, not pushing any one thing over another, but just be open to being here and present. Because if that's one thing that I've learned, of the many things I've learned throughout this experience, is that I can't bypass this grief. I can't project manage it. I can't compartmentalize it. I can't put an event on the calendar for when I'm going to be sad or when I'm going to be upset or when I'm going to miss my dad the most or when something's going to crack me up out of the blue. None of that is scheduled, and it's rolling and it's ongoing and it's continuous. But I'm learning to make space for it so that I don't feel that deep sense of denial that I was feeling when everything happened. And ultimately, being here is a gift, and being alive is a gift, and being able to carry on his legacy and all of our ancestors and everything that was done for us before us just feels nice to be able to do, and to breathe, or at least find moments where we find times to breathe. So yeah, next episode will be the last one, and I'm hoping by then I'll have green light to share what's coming next. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Okay. Right. So if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, let me know how you can be more present in your situation, in your life. And if you don't want to share it, just carry that with you as you're going on about your day, as you notice yourself zoning out, going into autopilot. What can you do to reel it back in, be where your feet are? And if there's something that your heart desires, can you trust it enough to surrender it and watch what happens when we stop planning and we stop forcing things to go one way or another? I'm curious to see what comes out of that for you. Okay, great. Hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Hoping to wrap this up very soon. And yeah, stick around for the last episode. It'll be a good one. Okay, bye.